Let's go bang, game pertama bang ya antara Onyx melawan Aurora bang ya. Ini adalah juara 1 dan juara 2 di MPL PH season 14. Sekarang season 15. Mari kita lihat. Ini dia. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Hyper Tank ya, Demon Kite-nya. King Kong masih setia dengan Sasuke. Suyao.
I will echo Renmar. It's very rare that we actually just agree on a draft. This is difficult for Onyx to execute, even for them.
Yeah. Like looking at the lineup itself, there are several counters which are already pretty much present. But hold
Licker
on.
Brusco ya.
Okay, that was close for Brusco. Going back, it's not just the Kalea that can potentially be countered out by the Purify that's in Aurora's hands, right? It's also the stacks that could come in from Kellera later on. Like if he gets to at least land 2 and just back 1, the moment he just either Yue or Dominica decides to pop the Purify, then that'll almost register the entire effort useless.
I really love that you mentioned Kellera because as much as
Kite
I
langsung
really do
jadi
agree,
sepatu.
hold on, Fato.
Di situ ada Demon Kite loh.
Might be in trouble here, going down first blood. No ultimates yet, no shortcut or anything means he's gonna go down. But Demon Kite does allow him to get a little bit of vengeance, get some of that goal back in.
Tank untuk tank.
Well, that was interesting. I mean, it's Onyx who we've been constantly talking about as a team who might be potentially lacking in terms of early game damage or even kill potential in general, but they just really went in aggressively, trying to invade even a red jungler.
As I was about to say earlier, I feel like, yeah, I mean, I love the role.
Ada Masya ternyata bang.
When you think about
Untuk
Kellera,
Edward.
and you think about the 1-1, what do you remember, right? Like you remember that insane 1v4 maniac play that he did on his own a few years back, and you think, you know what, this guy is scary.
That's right. In the summer of 2022, this was
Oke,
one of
tahap
Kellera's
pertama
main flames, the 1-1.
sudah
It's the reason why I call him the Filipino Savage. He would play
dipanggil.
forward in your face. Now Super Prince starting with the Crimson Beacon. First turtle off.
Ultinya di
Look at
cancel.
that. Beautiful engagement here coming in from Kirk, but will be slowed down a little bit. Brusco can't really do anything yet, doesn't have the Tsunami Slam. King Kong will be getting that turtle, and they could get a bit of an edge here on the coming fight, but looks like Aurora can decide to disengage.
Rockhard, you don't even need it. Onyx brute forced their way into scoring that first objective.
Yep, Kirk did a great job in managing Edward from getting out of his lane. It's not just that, it's also the way Onyx Philippines were able to immediately force out
King
the
Kongnya
Purify
masih
from
mau kah?
US, so he barely could position himself in a spot.
Diangkat, bos.
For Aurora.
This is better though. This time Tsunami Slam is on, and here we go with a pincer here coming in from Edward and Renegade. They're
Dibalikin
basically
dong.
tanks though. Edward's a good damage, will not be usable yet on Masha. Here comes the shortcut. They're diving in on
dibalikin,
King
bos.
Kong, and King Kong gets taken down.
The Sigma King falls. Now Super Prince falling back.
Oh boy, great follow-up from Aurora. Super Prince trying to get some of that HP back, but no.
Terlalu maksa
There's
bang
gonna
ya.
be a lot of bodies in the flow here for Onyx.
And they basically show us this is how you punish others. Oh, wait. There's another engage coming in from Onyx. Are they gonna commit? This is Demon Knight though. He's really tanky. King Kong's gonna catch up.
Dibalikin
They're
lagi.
gonna take it. Brusco out of range here with you as feathered airstrike. Edward is a huge threat on the front. Look at this guy going 1v1 on Kirk here.
Oh.
If there's anything we're gonna learn about that first
Licker dia
turtle
padahal
fight,
ultinya
is Onyx
Kirk
can only
belum ada bang ya.
engage when it's time. So Onyx time, that's what they're going off of, this very single-minded lineup. They can barrel through you, but only when they're ready. If Rora comes in and says, no, you're not ready, we'll flank you, it's over.
Yeah, and I think this is one of the main pointers we had in the keys to victory earlier. It's that Aurora can potentially capitalize on all these overextended plays that Onyx may potentially commit in the game, and we've seen a couple of them even in early as just 4 minutes of this game. So this is something that Onyx probably has to take into
Ini dia,
consideration because they've been
level
forcing out a lot of
rankingnya.
reaction from Aurora, yes, but
Masih
Aurora
sama
has the
levelnya.
tools to actually punish them successfully.
How about Turtle 2?
Turtle kedua,
Onyx
apakah
having
King
to go
Kong
at
masih
it
bisa
once more.
menguasai?
King Kong starting up, Demon Kite spotted him.
Chipnya datang dari belakang.
To the scene. How did Renegade get back there?
Oh my goodness, Renegade out
Dapat
of
King
nowhere
Kongnya
here.
lah.
Getting another kill for Edward. This time around, King Kong is gone. No more turtle retribution available here. Shortcut is still active. They could go back if they want to. They could also bring Kirk maybe, but looks like that's not going to be a thing. Look
Kirknya
at this, whittle him
flicker.
down slowly, force a flicker out. and then just keep the fight going.
Why walk?
Why
That's how we
walk?
got there. Why walk? And Onyx did not check that portal.
Yep, there are some crazy back and forths that are happening right now. Dominkite didn't even need to join in the fight because Aurora has the necessary damage, or just even their mere presence and dominance on zoning out Onyx Philippines away from potentially contesting that turtle. So that's the first objective. Oh my goodness, I thought the concussive blast was actually gonna get it away from him.
Kelranya setidaknya masih clean bang ya.
Singular chip in the face of two members of Onyx with the retribution on cooldown. That would not fly.
Which is normally, you know what, it's not a big threat, but then you are trying to force off that retribution coming in from your enemy jungler that's already big. And Renegade, he's been doing this non-stop every single time he's on the chip.
Yeah,
I like how you mentioned that.
Major flinch. That's a power play, all right? If there's anything that Onyx can rely on in the face of this 4,000 gold lead Aurora's approaching, is the fact that Keller hasn't joined any fights yet.
Yeah.
The fact that the chip has the shortcut means Dominkite has been an active part of all of Aurora's assaults. We're waiting for Keller to get online.
Yeah. There was just this one moment though which happened just now that Dominkite indeed did not decide to join, but it seems like it is indeed time for Kelra.
Karat langsung Kelranya lo.
He might just be even forced to join in on what Onyx is trying to do from this point onwards because they're being forced to defend so many of their turrets. I liked how Rockhard did mention Renegade and how proactive he is in terms of using the chip because he comes in at the most unexpected timings.
Di flickery dong.
But they go for the engage.
Yeah, that's a beautiful engagement.
Rugi
Renegade
dong
will
nggak?
be able to still activate the
Dibalikin
shortcut.
dong.
It
Rugi
actually
jelas.
was enough to keep him alive, but only for a moment. Double kill for Doming though. That means that's gonna be stacked going into that Granger. Now Demon Kite is on the jungle. Here, on a bit of a pincer maneuver. Edward! Like a bullet straight into Super Prince, gonna be able to at least push him back, but no kills happening for Aurora.
Flicker forward, thunderclap. You know what? It's not even the fact that he didn't get a kill. The fact that they forced Onyx back all the way is worth it.
Yeah, it's only been 7 minutes, but just look at
Langsung
how
di ulti.
evading.
This is absolute domination here. Portal is active on that shortcut, and
Siapa yang nanya dia itu?
is all alone here on the front. They can't really go
chipnya.
near, but they will be able to take out the Hitman.
Renegade is costing them so much.
Yeah.
It's not like he didn't die recently for another 2-for-1. He respawned, came back, and then caused them more trouble.
Yeah, Onyx it feels like Onyx already know that they really have to deal with Renegade, which is why they tried and attempted to take him out, but it just cost them a lot more, especially as they have to consider the other damage dealers. They have to consider
flicker.
Yue. There's no one essentially who could reach the damage dealers at this point. Both Dominkite and Yue are proving to be a huge problem, and this is what you get for a glue. You get to start things front to back, or ideally in this kind of scenario, because you can't risk going in too deep. Aurora, they're the ones taking control of the entire map.
They're denying Onyx's main strength. You can't even come in. It's sadistic what Aurora's doing. You saw that last turtle, how they were saying, look, turtle's at neutral, all right? Demon Kite's not even close to it. King Kong, come on.
Oh,
If they
full-scale
do that-
denial.
Yeah, if they do that, King Kong gets punished. Here comes Kurt.
Langsung
And they're
retry lo.
trying to do this. Kirk is the one trying to do the punish, and the stick gonna come in. Yue is so far away from home though. Shortcut is active once more, but this time around looks like a better engagement coming in from Onyx, using that Tsunami Slam to isolate Renegade.
Yep.
And Kirk got away with it. So this is the first win for Onyx since that first turtle.
Yeah, the shortcut was was launched right after the Yue actually used the Wings by Wings alongside Kirk with a grab. So Kirk was able to take advantage of that shortcut that's readily available, and the fact that Onyx during that team fight were able to split up or even just zone away the damage dealers, again courtesy of Kirk, they were able to take advantage of the entire scenario, punishing at least one member from Aurora, but this still doesn't change the fact that there exists a
6.000 perbedaan
6
gol na, Bang.
lead in favor of Aurora.
All right. It's a blessing
Dah.
to know what's wrong. And so far,
Terasa
Onyx has
kali
figured
tuh,
out that if we
apalagi
find
hypernya
Conquer,
hyper tank
we
loh.
can cut down that lead. We can get away with free wins. But Aurora, they're still in the driver's seat. Gas, pedal to the metal, and look at that. Edward is not letting up. These holy shields are gonna go.
That's
Yeah.
right. Just like what we saw like in the games yesterday, right? Exactly what Free Martisi has been doing. this Masha really starting to get into form.
Yep, and that Masha is on the way to a second item BOD. So imagine if actually Renegade gets to look for the perfect target with the shortcut and then just calls for Edward to try to burst him down with all the thunderclaps that are readily available. And now Onyx needs to watch out for that portal near their purple buff because Renegade might decide to come in anytime, and that's exactly what they're doing right now.
It's a favored portal for Renegade. And again, how unfortunate that it's close to the Lord too.
Yeah, and Renegade can actually do it, but he's a little far from zone here. Doesn't really have that much information. They're waiting to make a big play, essentially. They don't want to be too crazy. And maybe looking at Edward. Maybe he's waiting for the call from Edward on top.
Yeah, this is a very difficult Lord dance for Onyx to partake in. They don't know the steps. They got 2 left feet, and they know that
Edwardnya udah mundur.
split push. Clean
Dikasih
take.
free.
Rora scores. Nothing Onyx could do.
That was a perfectly timed Y walk there for Renegade as well.
Yes. They had to deal with the waves, and as much as Brusco had the information, he was just standing there in the brush right next to the portal. There was nothing they could do because there were other things that they had to deal with. Again, the waves, and you couldn't contest an objective that was already almost burst down here technically by Aurora. There's the Winter Crown pickup, by the way, as well by Demon Kite. So you could expect them to play this a little more aggressively because they can't just bait out that crossbow of Tam.
Yep. The way
Lordnya
that
ke atas.
he's building this Fredrin, again, he's very comfortable with the hero, not just because the resurgence of utility junglers is he having to play this. He's used to the old Fredrin. About 2 years he had to play the Fredrin to stay on top of MLB BE Sports. He's building it very efficiently. Antique Kiras, Radiant Armor, and then the aforementioned Winter Truncheon. Like literally, he is just a wall. A walking brick house.
Yeah, he has to be the wall for Aurora at this point because Edward is literally going full damage here, or so far he's going for the damage items. And Renegade, he picked up the fleeting time. And now they've
Langsung di ulti.
another kill.
That's a very early feathered airstrike here activated by Yue, forcing back Onyx inside the base. Go Turtle for the meantime, although we have a Lord. They're doing the big defense. And it's really hard to actually get near, but at the same time, Aurora can't really touch these turrets too much as well because of the threat of the Kalea.
Yeah, how unfortunate is it that we went past 12 minutes by the time the waves were in sync and approaching their base turrets. It was very fortunate for Onyx that they didn't lose a single base turret. But that was enough for Aurora to deal damage to almost all of them. And now, though...
Diangkat dong.
This could be big here. Renegade getting
Dibalikin
pulled
dong.
back in. Shortcut is active, but he will go down. There goes
Waduh.
Killer with crossbow tang. But Kirk, their big front line, is now out of commission. They're going to have to back off here.
2 for 1. Again, the Hitman capable of buying so much away from the Super Famine.
Oh!
Kelra Wintertron!
Oh my goodness, that win chant was right on time. 1 second less, and that could have been it. We'll stay
Ada
alive
ulti
for the
Parsa
meantime,
langsung
though,
tewas
and
tadi
it
Kelra.
will still allow Onyx to clear.
Yep. Another airstrike coming in from Yue, but they're just zoning out
Yue
Onyx.
ball midnya.
They don't want to go away without taking a single base turret from Onyx, and there's 30 seconds before the next objective, but it's just looking very rough for Onyx, considering that even when Keller was able to dish out the crossbow of Tam earlier, and despite the presence of the Corrosion Scythe with Talker and the Has Claws, we barely felt the damage towards the members of Aurora.
Between the 3 items, 4 that Keller has, I'm guessing it's all utility right now.
Yeah.
Lifesteal, the attack speed, the extra farm with the Windtalker, the Wind of Nature, penetration. Invest in...
Lord yang kedua.
What is this?
Malefic
Demon
Lord?
Hunter Sword!
Udah tebal kali
Yeah.
udah men.
They should. This was
Demon Kite-nya, Bang.
This was a build that Benny QT2 decided to offer yesterday when they were way behind up against Team Falcons. So this is exactly what's happening to Onyx right now. So we definitely see the need for them to wait a little more. There's Brusco picking up the fleeting time, but I don't think they'll be able to go for any
Free.
setups and attempts for now. Just look at how Aurora's managing the macro so well through Edward.
Here's what's worse.
Edward
Onyx lineup isn't even
pasti
really
maksa
built
nih
to deal with
untuk
waves.
one-one-nya.
I'd put their wave clear on a scale of 1 to 10, like a 6.5.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like they
Pas
also know
dipaksa
this,
dia nih.
right? That's why they're not even trying too hard to go for the contest
Tuh.
of that Lord.
Flickernya udah siap itu, Bang.
Inside the base. What a synchronized push by Aurora!
This is a huge push. There's just no way that you can deal with all of this.
No way. Ini 1-0.
And that's gonna be it
Cuma
for
14
game number
menit loh
one.
ditaruh
It's gonna be Rorak.
Onyxnya.
Take him out.